Everyone online is performing a role, whether they know it or not. Psychologists have spent decades mapping exactly which roles people fall into. And by the end of this video, you'll probably wince at least twice, because you've definitely been more than one of them this week. Number 1. The Lurker. You'd think social media runs on posting. It actually runs on watching. Researcher Jacob Nielsen mapped this back in 2006, the 99-1 rule. 90% of people in any online space only watch. 9% chip in occasionally. Just 1% post enough to make the other 91% feel like they're the weird ones. The Lurker is that silent 90%. They've fully judged your vacation photos, your breakup, and your 2 a.m. tweet. And they will never, ever like the post. It isn't shyness, and it isn't apathy. It's the platform working exactly as designed. The entire economy of likes runs on a massive silent crowd that never asks for anything back. You could call them freeloaders. Really? They're the only ones not getting played. Number 2, the approval seeker. Neuroscientists Diana Tamir and Jason Mitchell found that talking about yourself feels, to your brain, like being handed cash. In their experiment, people gave up real money just for the chance to talk about themselves instead of someone else. So the Lurker cracks. They post. And the second they do, a new, hungrier question takes over. Did it work? A 2016 UCLA study strapped teenagers into brain scanners and showed them a fake Instagram feed. Every time a photo racked up more likes, their brains lit up like a jackpot, and they got measurably more likely to like things they knew were a bad idea. It's the exact same trick that makes slot machines more addictive than vending machines. An unpredictable reward beats a guaranteed one, every time. Your phone isn't an accident. It's a slot machine that fits in your pocket, and the notification bell is the lever. Number 3, the Humblebragger. Approval seekers learn one lesson fast. Begging for compliments in public makes you look desperate. So the smart ones learn to disguise the begging. Harvard researchers Oval Caesar, Francesca Gino, and Michael Norton ran 9 separate studies on this exact move. A brag smuggled inside a complaint. Like, "Oh, so annoyed people keep telling me I look 10 years younger." Here's the part that should sting. Their research found humble bragging makes you seem less likable and less competent than someone who just brags outright, no apology attached. 70% of people could instantly recall the last time someone pulled this on them. The disguise doesn't fool anyone. It's a costume that's supposed to look like regular clothes, and everyone can see the seams. Number 4, the Curator. The Humblebragger's disguise fails because it's happening on the same stage as everyone else. Your boss, your grandmother, your ex, all watching the same performance. Some people solve that problem differently. They just build a second stage. Sociologist Irving Goffman described this decades before the internet existed. Everyone keeps a polished front stage self for public view, and a rawer backstage self for the people they actually trust. The Curator builds both, on purpose. One account for the highlight reel, a smaller, uglier one for the 4 people who get the real story. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. A 2022 study on teenagers found kids called their fake account the real them, and called the polished public one the performance. The account built to look real was the one they trusted least. Number 5, the Comparer. Every curator's front stage is engineered to look effortless. Staring at enough of other people's effortless turns a normal person into a comparer. Psychologist Leon Festinger clocked this back in 1954. Humans can't stop measuring themselves against others, especially when there's no scoreboard to check the real numbers. A study of more than 700 college students found something specific. Scrolling itself didn't predict depression. Envy did, as the exact middle step. The longer people used Facebook, separate research found, the more convinced they were that everyone else's life was better than theirs. Not because it was true, because nobody posts the Tuesday where nothing happened. You're not losing to their life, you're losing to their highlight reel. And that's a fight nobody wins. Number 6, the Doomscroller. Comparing yourself to a curated feed is exhausting in one direction. There's an equally exhausting version pointed the other way. Instead of scanning for proof everyone else is winning, some people scan for proof the world is ending. Meet the Doomscroller. In 2022, researchers built the first real scale to measure this habit and tied it to something ancient, a negativity bias that once kept your ancestors alive by making them notice the rustling bush before the tiger did. That instinct hasn't gone anywhere. It's just been handed an infinite feed with no bottom and no tiger that ever actually leaves. The cost is real, too. A separate study found the most severe doomscrollers were roughly 10 times more likely to say it wrecked their physical health, 61%, compared to about 6% of everyone else. Number 7, the troll. Not everyone stays scared, though. Strip away a person's real face and a name attached to real consequences, and for some people that fear curdles into something else entirely, aggression. This is the troll. Psychologist John Suler named this the online disinhibition effect back in 2004, and he found it cuts both ways. The same anonymity that turns some people cruel makes others surprisingly kind and open. But a 2014 study of over 1,200 people found something specific about the trolls. It had almost nothing to do with enjoying a good argument. It was tied to one trait, and one trait only: everyday sadism. The troll doesn't want to win the debate. They want to watch your hands shake while you type back. Number 8, the parasocial fan. Not everyone online is looking for a fight. Some people take that same hunger for intensity and aim it in the complete opposite direction. Total devotion to a stranger who doesn't know they're alive. This is the parasocial fan. Researchers coined the term parasocial back in 1956 to describe this one-sided bond between an audience and a person on a screen. For decades, that was written off as a sad substitute for real friendship. Then, in 2024, a study of more than 3,000 people found something nobody expected. People rated their one-way relationships with online creators as more emotionally satisfying than their relationships with actual real-life acquaintances. Not their best friends, those still win, but against the coworker they actually get lunch with, the total stranger wins. The most one-sided relationship on the internet. And somehow, it's winning. So, which one are you, right now? Or better yet, who's the biggest lurker in your group chat? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more of this, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.